allegedly by her ex-partner called Leo. The images went viral. She suffered reputational, academic, and psychological harm. Police delayed investigations for 2 months. The social media platform refused immediate removal of the content. Meeting the issues? Amani petitions the court alleging violation of dignity, privacy, equality, security, and the state's failure to exercise due diligence. Leo, on the other hand, denies involvement. The state, on the other hand, denies liability. So the objective of this moot, as you are running this program, the reason why we thought this moot was important is to consider the creation or dissemination of deepfake sexually explicit content constitute TFGBBV, number one. Did the state violate its duty of due diligence in responding to that incident? Do private digital law firms have enforceable obligations to remove harmful content? And if you go to court, what is the standard of proof that is required for you? So that is the objective. So at this point, I wish to hand it over to our presiding judge to begin the court process.
Good morning, everyone. This is the Constitutional Court, Kibabii University. This is a bench of 3 judges. On my right, I have Mr. Justice Honorable William Kiprono. And on my left, I have Lady Justice Celestine Matere. Myself, I am the presiding judge of this bench. My name is Honorable Lady Justice Esther Mburu. I will call out the court assistant to this court. Before I call out the court assistant to this court, I want to let you know that this is a court that proceedings are being recorded. We have gone ICT techno survey, and the proceedings are being recorded for purposes of transcription. Any parties who are participating in this matter and you wish to have this proceeding after this, they will be transcribed and you will get them. So I will call on to the court assistant to this court to call out the first matter on the court's list. I will introduce him. He's called Mr. Derek Ochoki. Karibu sana.
So the matter that is this court is the African Court of Justice and Human Rights, sitting in the case of Amani N versus the Republic of Kisiwa.
Let us get the respondents, the applicant in the matter, introduce themselves. The advocate for the applicant, introduce yourself.
May it please the court. My name is Scholastica Nyaga, appearing as counsel for the applicant, Ms. Amani N.
Thank you very much. Let us have representation for the respondents.
May it please the court. My name is Aflin Yvonne Ouma, appearing as the lead counsel for the defendant, State of Kisiwa, and my assisting counsel is David Hanikia Amimo.
We will start with the applicant. What is the case before this court? What is your position?
My lady and my lord, this case is about a young woman whose right to dignity, privacy, equality, and security of the person were gravely violated through the non-consensual sharing and dissemination of the sexually explicit deepfake images. Honorable Bench, in this case, the court is asked to determine how the constitutional rights operate in the age of artificial intelligence and whether the state of Kisiwa can abdicate its responsibility to protect its citizens from the technology-facilitated gender-based violence, and whether the protections of the African Charter and the Maputo Protocol extend meaningfully into the digital domain where new forms of violence are emerging. My lady and my lords, this matter is about holding the state of Kisiwa accountable for the technology-facilitated gender-based violence. My lady and my lord, on the matter of admissibility, the Republic of Kisiwa is a state party to the African Charter and the Maputo Protocol deposited in Article 34, Section 6 Declaration, allowing individuals direct access to this court. Honorable Bench and the members of public present. On the matter of material facts, this case alleges the violation of Article 3, 4, and 5 of the African Charter and Article 3, 4, 8, and 25 of the Maputo Protocol concerning dignity, equality, life, and integrity, and also freedom from violence on women's right to remedy and protection from harmful practices. Thus, the court has subject matter jurisdiction. My lady and my lords, and the members of public present, the state of Kisiwa denied investigations for 8 weeks, refused to prosecute promptly, and lacked effective procedures for TFGBV. The findings in Ogiek versus Kenya and Zongo versus Burkina Faso allows applicants to proceed directly to this court where domestic remedies are unduly prolonged or ineffective. This is founded in Article 55 and 56 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. My lady and my lords, in this application, I shall relay on the following theories, doctrines, principles, and points of law, the details of which I am submitting to the court as a bundle. Your lady and your lordship, this matter is grounded on 5 foundational theories. Under the theory of digital personhood, Honorable Bench, the traditional privacy law focused on protecting data, but the digital personhood theory, it argues that a person's identity in the digital sphere is an extension of the self. And under this theory, a person's face, movements, and likeness are not just mere information. They are the constitutive elements of the human dignity, and manipulating them through the deepfakes is equivalent to manipulating the person. Honorable Bench, that the deepfake are not just a mere breach of data, Honorable Bench. It is a violation of the applicant's personhood. And therefore, this theory urges the court to determine that a digital harm is real harm because a digital personhood is real personhood. My lady and my lords, under the theory of network violence, abuse is not an isolated act. It is a form of network violence that is amplified through the algorithms, multiplied through reposts, and rendered permanent through the digital memory. Honorable Bench and the members of public present, allow me to be candid on this, that every reshare is a real violation of human rights, and every view is a fresh wound. Honorable Bench, in network violence, harm is not episodic, it is continuous. Not because the perpetrators extend beyond the original content creator, while the victims suffer scale, speed, and permanence. A network delay in such a network violation, it is not a delay, it is a denial of protection. A delayed intervention by the authorities is denied justice. This court must therefore impose a heightened duty of care on state authorities because the traditional investigative mechanisms cannot match violation that affects her embodied self, even if the underlying body in the video is synthetic, it explains why humiliation is real, trauma is real, and also autonomy of loss is real. This theory, it argues or it confronts the outdated argument that deepfakes are not real. Honorable Bench, it asserts that images do not need to depict real acts for them to be real violations. And therefore, I move the court to a gender-responsive constitutional interpretation of this matter. I invite the Honorable Court to the doctrine of digital constitutionalism, which argues that the human rights must be reinterpreted for the digital age, that the courts have a duty to give old rights new meaning. And therefore, the Constitution must be a living document that evolves to protect its citizens from the harms that the drafters could not foresee. Thus to mean privacy must include algorithmic manipulation. And also dignity.
So we'll pause for a moment. Our chief guest has arrived. Karibu sana, Honorable Harriet Chigai. So your founders, the moot court, it has just started. Yes, so the applicant is making their case. Asante.
Thus to mean that privacy must include the algorithmic manipulation, dignity must include protections from the synthetic sexualization, and equality must include protection from the gendered digital personhood, and also security must include the psychological and reputational integrity. Therefore, my lady and my lords, the court must adopt a transformative constitutional approach that recognizes deepfakes as a serious violation of privacy, dignity, equality, and the security of the person. I invite the Honorable Court and the members of public present to the state responsibility theory that argues that a state is accountable for the human rights violations that are either, one, committed by the state officials, or that it fails to prevent the abuse under its jurisdiction. This theory requires that states do not refrain from violating rights, but also take positive measures to protect individuals from violating, including the private actors, and to investigate and prosecute the offenders. In the case of APDH versus Cote d'Ivoire 2016, delays in investigating complaints of violation, it constituted a breach of due diligence. In this case, Honorable Bench, the police department of Kisiwa delays in investigations for 8 weeks due to lack of technical capacity. It constitutes the breach of due diligence and abdication of responsibility to protect its citizens. Honorable Bench, under the doctrine of duty of care, it is a legal obligation of the states to take reasonable care to avoid causing foreseeable harm to others. And it is a fundamental principle that requires negligence. And if this duty is breached, then the person who has breached it should be held legally liable. Honorable Bench, this is established in the celebrated case of Donoghue versus Stevenson, UK 1932. Your Lady and my Lordship and the members of Parliament present. The states of Kisiwa and Leo